You're watching our talk from the majestic Safdarjung tomb in Delhi. I'm Jujhar Singh. We're with one of the leading sitar players in the world, Ustad Nishat Khan. He's a seventh-generation musician from his very illustrious family, which includes his father, Ustad Imrat Khan, and his uncle, Ustad Vilayat Khan. Nishat himself is known for his great virtuosity, and we're hoping for some super demos from him. Nishat, hi, very warm welcome to our talk.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, last week you asked that, can we shoot this episode in some tomb outdoor, and here we are. I hope you like this.
Oh, this is wonderful. I mean, I come to Delhi all the time, and I've never been here, so it's such a fantastic thing to do.
Your musical family is amazing. I mean, I talked about your father Imrat Khan, your uncle Vilayat Khan, but your grandfather was Inayat Khan, your great-grandfather Imdad Khan. It's a great musical family.
Well, I'm very privileged to be born in this family.
I mean, you couldn't have been anything other than a musician.
No choice. Before we know what we are supposed to, we were already doing it.
Yeah. I heard that when you were 3 years old, your father gifted you a toy sitar.
He did. Yeah, he did. It was a little thing, and he'd kept it in the house. He would give it to me, and I would play with it. And then, as I was, when I would finish, he would immediately hide it. So that when a kid doesn't have something, what he likes, then he craves for it, So the whole idea was that he would take it away.
That's very smart. He knows the kid's psychology.
Yeah. He's a very good teacher.
I also believe you did your first concert when you were 7 years old in Kolkata. I mean, wow.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
What do you remember of it?
Just spectacular. There was a huge crowd, and my father and uncle were playing together, and then my father said, "Isko thodi der bajwate hain," and so everybody agreed, and I went out and played there.
So it wasn't pre-planned anything like that?
It wasn't pre-planned, not at all. In fact, I played my father's sitar in that. I was trying to reach the upper portions of the instrument. It was
You learned the sitar from your father Imrat Khan, but your very famous uncle Vilayat Khan gave you some tips as well, right?
Of course, yes. I mean, Vilayat Khan Sahab he's the teacher of my father, and he was the oldest in the family, and I had the great privilege of spending a lot of time with him whenever he was coming to Calcutta or wherever I met him. He would always give me something or the other, and so that was wonderful. My father is my teacher, and I'm very blessed to have him because he is a wonderful teacher. And so he was very, very strict about teaching and the talim and everything. It was very,
I want to ask you about this because we all know that Vilayat Khan Sahab was a very strict teacher.
Was he?
You should know that.
Not
what
really.
was your father like?
My father is known to be very strict. 6:30 in the evening, I had to sort of just sit and practice no matter what happened. So the friends who came home, they had to sit in the drawing room and listen to me practice. And I'll tell you one very interesting thing that happened when I was like 13 years old. We were very scared of my father, and he was, guru bhi hai, father bhi hai, and you had to adhere to the timings. And one time I didn't want to go to school anymore. So when I was 30 and I walked into the room and I told him, I said, I don't want to go to school. And he was very angry about it, but he said, "Theek hai, if you don't go to school, you have to play sitar the time that you were supposed to spend in school." So then I ended up playing my school time.
That's a fair deal, yeah.
Oh, yes, at this point, yes. But at that time, you can imagine it was terrific. But it worked out fine.
But a lot of musicians who have these stories that, I was tied up to a tree when I was playing something wrong. You don't have any such dramatic stories to tell?
We don't have those tea-tying stories.
A very long time ago, I heard from your brother Wajahat. He said that many of the older women in your family have also been very good musically. In fact, he told me a story. Your grandmother once, you were playing in the middle of the night, you were doing riyaz, and you must have played something wrong, and she sort of yelled across the corridor that, "Ye kya galat baja rahe, fir se bajao." It happened?
True. I was playing, it was 3 in the morning, and she was the only person in the house who would be awake. I mean, amazingly. If the sitar came out, and whenever one would sit with the sitar, she was always, very, very bright and awake. And 3 in the morning, I was playing Bihag, actually. And I played something, and she said, "Kya baja rahe ho? Kya baja raha hai? Theek se bajao isko,"
So even though it was 3 in the morning, she was very sharp.
Very sharp.
Yeah,
and
she was
would
awake
then walk
and she
into
was
the room
musically very sharp.
Exactly. And then she would walk in the room and she would tell you what to play, So yeah, we were very blessed that we had we
But
had
in
our-
those days, the women folk didn't play out,
in our
publicly,
family.
did they?
Yeah. They were not playing out in public, but
Yeah.
they were the pillars, sort of, to say, of the family. You know, they gave a lot of talim to the kids.
Okay, let's talk about your instrument, the sitar, now, because arguably the most famous instrument of the country. If I've got
Probably,
an idea.
tell me.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably the second most famous instrument in the world, probably, I would say. Yeah.
Which would you say is the most
I mean,
famous in the world?
violin and guitars, you
The
know,
violin
they say,
and guitar,
yeah, everybody.
yeah.
But sitar is anywhere in the world I go, you know, and
Yeah.
I'll put it through the machine and say, hey, sitar.
I'm sure the foreigners, even when they see a sarod, they think it's a sitar.
It is exactly, or a tanpura for that matter, you know. So everything is a sitar. Yes.
Okay, but I'll tell you what, before we talk about some of the intricacies of the sitar, how about we hear something from you? Maybe one of your own compositions.
Okay, I'll play you something. So I did something in Gauti recently.
Beautiful, very nice. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
What's the kind of wood the sitar is made from?
Well, it's called the tun. Very good tun comes from Maharashtra, Bangalore side. You know, the tun is the main body of the sitar. But this is very interesting. This is a pumpkin, which is we call the tomba. And the tomba is a dried pumpkin, and it goes through this whole process. You know, they dry it in the sun. The big kaddu, the pumpkin, they dry it in the sun, and they scrape it all out, and then there's a whole process. And then this wood, this part is attached on that, and then this is another piece of wood that goes over, and then there's this other part of wood. So it's all a group of pieces that come together that make the instrument.
And how many main strings do you have, and how many sympathetic strings do you have?
Well,
on
we
it?
have these sympathetic strings which we call tarab. And these are the top strings. The main wire is one, which is where you play the melody,
The baj tar.
the baj ka tar, and then you have the joda, which is the red wire, which is a bronze wire, and then you have the backup strings, which is Gandhar Pancham and Shikari.
But how do you get the resonance on the instrument? Is it from the sympathetic strings, and also because I presume the wood is hollow inside?
That's right. That's right. Resonance comes several ways. One is definitely it comes from the tarab, which is the sympathetic strings. These ones. So if I'm saying, you hear that da, you hear that tone, or you hear the tingling of the sympathetic wire. But then resonance also comes from certain sustenances, जिसको हम लोग मींड बोलते हैं. You know, so अब जैसे अब मैंने निखात से सा खींची. This is meaned. So when I'm playing the meaned, there is a whole, I'm pulling it, and the dying sound is where the resonance is also.
So that's one of the techniques of playing. You can play the mean, but you also have the murky, right? And you play that very well. You
Murki,
make it vibrate.
Yeah.
Why don't you show us what a murky is?
So, for example, a typical would be.
It's the quivering.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this kind of use of the left hand is called murki and zamzamas.
So with the murki, you're basically quivering the sound.
That's right.
And
yeah.
you can have a kan, which is a smaller quiver of the sound.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Why don't you show that? Yeah.
तो एक कन एक बहुत बहुत जो छोटा एक जो साउंड लगता है जो छोटी एक आवाज उसको कन बोलते हैं.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of more techniques. So common techniques in the sitar. You have the gamak also, which in fact vocalists as well as instrumentalists use. Why don't you demonstrate what that is? What is it?
Gamak is when you slide between two notes, and there are several kinds of playing gamaks. Like for example. This is a gamak. So I was playing. I was doing the gamak, which is the sliding of the source
between two notes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you what, Nishat. Let's take a break now. When we come back, we'll elaborate more on your technical prowess. We'll also talk about the fact that a lot of people say that you play the sitar like Jimi Hendrix might play the sitar. We'll talk about that after the break. Keep watching Art Talk. Welcome back. You're watching Art Talk with me, Jujhar Singh, from the Safdarjung Tomb in Delhi. We're talking to Sitar Maestro Ustad Nishat Khan, who's here with us. Nishat, you come from the Itawa Gharana. Your father, Imrat Khan Sahab, your uncle, Vilayat Khan Sahab, they, of course, from that same Gharana as well. Then you also have someone like Pandit Ravi Shankar, who comes from the Maihar Gharana. These have all been very prominent sitar players of the last several decades. What are the main differences between your Gharana and say someone like Pandit Ravi Shankar in the way the sitar is approached?
First of all, our Gharana, we are known to have established what sitar is today. So there are lots of things that we've done on the sitar. Basically, the subjects of the music, the standardization of the size of the instrument, the way the instrument should sound, the kind of strings that should go on the instrument, the way the tarab strings are to be played. In fact, the tarab was added in our family by my great-great-grandfather, these instruments, and then these strings, and the number of frets, the kind of strings.
Your Gharana's made a lot of structural changes to the instrument over time. Your Gharana is also known for playing the sitar and the gaiki. You sort of play it in the.
Yes. Our Gharana is actually known. It's not also. I just want to make that clear. We are the ones who invented gaiki on sitar. I mean, a lot of people
play the sitar like one would sing, basically, in the singing style, as opposed to the instrumental style.
Exactly. But the instrumental style was there in any case. So what we did was we brought in this whole new dimension.
I'll tell you what, why don't you play a little gata composition? Maybe you can show us how it would sound instrumental style and then how it would sound in the gaiki singing style.
I'd love that.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. For example, earlier the styles were more concentrated in the right hand. The bowls, the right hand strokes of instrumental music. So I'll play you one of the guts of my great grandfather Ustad Imdad Khan Sahab. So you'll see that more this gut is concentrated on the right hand. It's more on the right hand. And when the melody is played on the left hand, later on, as we brought in the khayal ang, the
The singing style.
The singing
Yeah,
style.
yeah.
The melodies became very powerful, and then we started doing these. Yeah, da, 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 da. So tans also became more complex, and they became much more melodic in
One
that
can
sense.
immediately see a very big difference. Nishat, what is it that you bring to the sitar? What would one describe as your approach and style playing the sitar?
I play a lot of, like you were talking about the Jimi Hendrix bit a little while ago. There's a lot of virtuosity. I play a lot of virtuoso things and little
You're
techniques.
technically very strong, and you bring a lot of energy, I must say. Yeah.
Thank you. So this is what I play is I play a lot of virtuoso music, but at the same time I do a lot of simple things.
In 2004, you played in Eric Clapton's guitar festival Crossroads. I know the rock star Carlos Santana was in the audience, and I read somewhere that you said that you lit a firecracker. You played a short piece, to show the complexity of the sitar, and you said the audience went crazy.
I did. Those are little things, I mean, there are a lot of things happen on the spur of the moment. And
why didn't you play us a little firecracker?
Oh gosh!
Let our audience go a little bit crazy.
No, it's just little things that you do, and I was playing something So something like that, I must have played some
Hendrix.
People get very excited with something like that.
When you perform, I've noticed that you're looking sort of left and right. You're looking and engaging with the audience. Your head is shaking, your whole body is shaking. Your sitar, everything is in musical mode really at the time, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah. It's very dramatic.
It just happens. You're sitting there, and there's this audience there, and you play to everything, and then God has to give you that moment. Yeah, it has to happen at that moment, and I love that. I like inspiration at that moment.
Nishat, we spoke to Anita Singh, the president of the Indian Music Society,
right,
and we asked her about your style of playing the sitar. Yeah. And would you like to hear what she had to say?
Oh my God, I would be curious. Yeah.
All right, let's listen in.
I have known Nishat since he was a little child, and the first thing that comes to mind now that you're asking, I would say, he is his father's son. His father is full of joy, full of, he's a fun person. So Nishat as a person, his persona is that. Music, creativity is always an extension of his own personality. And therefore, to my mind, Nishat's music is an extension of his personality, which means, he's an extrovert. He loves, the color, the lyricism. That is what is the emphasis of his music. And he has put in a lot of hard work, put in a lot of riyaz. So the technical portions of his performance are tremendous, tremendous virtuosity and technique. There is just 2 or 3 others of his generation, perhaps, where the technique of playing is concerned.
So that was Anita Singh on Nishat Khan. All right, in the last couple of minutes, a few quick questions. You can call it a sort of rapid fire round if you want. Quick answers from you. First of all, your best moment as a sitar player?
One where I played with my father and my uncle on the stage together.
When was that?
Many years ago. That would be one.
Imran Khan Saab, Vilayat Khan Saab.
Yes. Right. And the best moments are when I'm performing there and people are there, the Goonies, the learned people, and say wah wah to you. Audiences love it. Those are great moments for me.
Okay, most forgettable moment as a sitar player.
Oh God, I don't think I have one. there's
You're
nothing
lucky.
like. I am very lucky that moment. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
If I've forgotten it, forgettable is if I've forgotten about it, it was there.
Okay, next, your favorite sitar player.
My favorite sitar player has to be Ustad Vilayat Khan Sahab always. You know, I mean, there is no doubt about that. And my father are my favorites. You know, Imran Khan Sahab. Yes.
Your favorite living sitar player.
Living sitar player is Nishat Khan myself. Sorry.
Okay, you're supposed to exclude yourself.
That cannot be. I mean, I can see, I can't see for quite far away. Okay.
Okay, best audience to play for in India.
As a collective audience, the most knowledgeable audiences is Calcutta, and everybody would agree.
Yeah, everybody says that,
People would love people love vocal music in Bombay. So you know, I play reflective and meditational music kind of in Bombay too, and that part as well. In Delhi, there's a wonderful audience, and so night before last was a fantastic audience, as you saw. So audiences are great. I mean, I think it's the artist who has to make the audience. The audiences are mostly great all the time, you know.
Best audience outside India.
London, I would say London, and and then there is New York, and you know, these are two places where you get great audiences. Yeah.
All right. Well, Nishat, it's been excellent talking to you, excellent hearing you as well. Thank you so much for joining us on our talk. And what would you like to leave us with?
I'll play you a little bit of that Tilak Kamo that I was playing.
All right.
So I'll play that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.